Meghan fears Petrified ex will tell all. The former husband has an explosive story to reveal. Harry warned there are more skeletons in the closet. All right, now for the main content of today's updates from New Magazine. After a pretty quiet start to the year, Meghan has been busy. She's planning the next phase of her career as she's supposedly building some type of wellness and lifestyle brand. But her big comeback could face some problems, as a royal expert is claiming that her ex-husband, Trevor Engelson, has had offers to write a tell-all book about their failed marriage. Now, Meghan was married to Trevor, who is a film management and production company owner from 2011 to 2013, and then they divorced on the grounds of irreconcilable differences. So I guess Meghan was working in Canada, and reportedly she decided to let him know she wanted a divorce by mailing back her wedding and engagement rings to him in LA. And now, royal author Neil Sean, who wrote the book The A to Z of Harry and Meghan, claims that Trevor has received many offers to put pen to paper about their past, and he also says that Meghan is going to be understandably concerned. Neil has met Trevor, and he told the magazine many agents have offered him big deals and big money when Meghan was at the height of her fame. I would think that he will take stock and look at all options. Meghan, he says, is bound to be petrified. He would truly have a remarkable story because, after all, he would have first-hand experience of what it was like to be married the first time around to the actress. I have met him briefly, and he strikes me as a nice, caring man who clearly has moved on. However, there is no escape from his story. Trevor is also quite successful in his own right. So his Beverly Hills-based production company, Underground, created the hit TV crime drama Snowfall. It ran for 6 seasons, and it was starring the British actor Damson Idris. And then last year, rumors were circulating that he was working with the royal author Tom Bower on his book Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors. The book included many details about how troubled Meghan's first marriage was, and according to the book, their first few years as a couple were blissful. Meghan nicknamed her husband Trevity Trev. But after Meghan was cast in legal drama suits in July of 2011, apparently their relationship began to experience some problems. And then after the filming on the show finished, Meghan stayed in Toronto. Now, Tom claimed that she told her friend she didn't want to be possessed by Trevor. He was still based in LA. Tom wrote, "To the producer's bemusement, Meghan was keen to set up her permanent home in Toronto rather than commute like all the other actors from Los Angeles." He went on to say that Meghan had informed producers that she didn't have any problem leaving the city, or even her partner, and he claimed the show was Meghan's ticket out of that marriage. Neil fronts Neil Sean's daily news headlines on YouTube, and he says that a book about Trevor's side of the story about his marriage to Meghan would attract a lot of interest. He says his story would be the inside track on how ruthless, ambitious, and determined she was. If he talks about how he was dumped and why, then it could be explosive. Meghan is not known for keeping any friends from her past, and Trevor's story so far is a huge mystery. Now, initially, Trevor was welcomed into the Markle family. Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, liked his son-in-law and described him as the perfect gentleman. Thomas said in an interview back in 2018, "I really liked Trevor. He got to know my mother, and he was always so kind and supportive. He was a perfect gentleman to my daughter and treated me with great respect. When he asked for Meghan's hand, I could not have been happier." And Trevor was also close with Meghan's mother, Doria. Thomas said he treated Meghan so well, and he was always so kind and respectful to Doria and me. Meghan loves to entertain, so we would be invited for meals and special occasions. I enjoyed Trevor's company very much. Now, Thomas has talked a lot about how he was upset that he was ignored by Meghan after her 2018 wedding to Prince Harry, which Thomas didn't come to because he was ill. And it came right after he admitted to conspiring with a photographer to pose for a series of staged paparazzi photos. Meghan's older sister, Samantha, has also referred to her sister as Princess Pushy, and she even wrote a book that goes into detail about their rivalry when their father was still married to Doria. But Neil says the family members didn't have any choice but to speak out, and he warns Harry that Trevor may be doing the same. He said, "If I were Harry, I would look out. I think there are many more skeletons in her closet. Her past is her future." So, all right, this is what the experts are saying, but what about the reality of the situation? Now, Meghan has a very small group of fans. Most people, though, have been turned off thanks to her nasty behavior. And I don't believe a book about her or Harry would sell well these days because most people are just sick and tired of both of them. Most people see them as a couple of liars and grifters and know all too well about their nasty behavior. So, of course, we don't want to hear any more about them. Based on what we have seen since Meghan married Harry, the marriage to Trevor was probably all about her. We're hearing that now he's happily married and he's a father. His private family life, I'm sure, is satisfying, and he's a lot further ahead in his career as a producer and in a better place financially than he was when he got together with Meghan. So I don't think he really needs to say anything about her. I think his focus is on the future. He is being the best version of himself right now, living his best life. He's not going to be looking back to his failed marriage to Meghan. Now, I'm sure when he got that envelope with the rings in it, he was upset, but I don't think he's angry about it anymore. I think he's clearly moved on. If he were still miserable, if he still wanted to get revenge, then sure, he could write a book. But he is not miserable, he's happy. So I don't think there's really incentive for him to spill the beans on his marriage to Meghan. I don't think he wants to give her any more publicity. At this point, Meghan Markle is simply a faint memory to him. He's healed at this point, and he's acting like a much more mature person than she is. She's always trying to wreak havoc, get revenge on people, and creating drama where there isn't any. He's not like that. Meghan went from being a royal in the UK to a lower status than she had even before she got together with Harry. Now, I think the only way to upset him would be if Meghan wrote a book and mentioned him in it, painting him in a negative light with lies and made-up stories. Now, Trevor might consider retaliating if Meghan did that. At this point, most people see Harry and Meghan as a couple of liars, hypocrites, and abusive people who will do absolutely anything to get attention from the media. I mean, the horrible couple, also known as Meghan and Harry, have shown us they don't have respect for anyone or anything. Meghan's happy to pay backgrid to keep her stupid rictus grin in the news for as long as possible. One of the videos we posted yesterday was Last Desperate Step. Meghan still tries to act and deceive public to erase fake kids' shame. And as always, you guys had such a great discussion about it. I want to go over some of your comments. And to the people who keep stealing our videos, are you going to keep this part in or are you going to delete it? Hey thieves, why don't you try making your own video? Alright, so first I want to share with you the top 3 comments. Aquarius says, Meghan can talk the talk, yet cannot walk the walk. No one has witnessed her with her children as to what sort of mother she actually is. It's a huge red flag in my opinion. I agree wholeheartedly, and as for what type of mother Meghan might be, I get major mommy dearest vibes from her, and I don't think I'm the only one. And then I really like this comment from Valerie Kelly too. Valerie says, a person's true character is shown in how they treat animals. Harry's treatment of animals is notorious. Need we say more? I agree with you. I mean, it really is scary when I think about how he abused his polo ponies, and then whatever happened with that story about the dog that had the broken legs. I think the 2 of them are animal abusers. And then Margaret says, there are no kids. Meghan is just bluffing. What is the king doing? Not saying anything. For God's sake, please, King Charles, do something. Now, Margaret, I agree with you. I think the silence from the king is not a good thing. I do wish that he would come out with the truth, but at the same time, I understand there could be things happening behind the scenes that we don't know about. Maybe the king's hands really are tied for reasons that we are not privy to. And then Cindy says, the entire royal family, including the queen, are all aware that there are no children. They are all complicit in this fraud. Not sure what Harry and Meghan are holding over the heads of the royal family, but it must be a doozy. At some point, the truth will come out. It always does. And this is something I'm still not sure about. I mean, I want to give the royal family the benefit of the doubt to think they wouldn't try to get involved in a scam like this. But at the same time, there could be something they're being blackmailed with, some kind of information that they don't want getting out. And that's why they're willing to stay silent on this matter. Meanwhile, Christine has some pretty strong words for the king. She says, hope this direct comment to King Charles gets somehow to his ears. If you don't come clean about Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet very soon, all supporters of the monarchy in the UK will turn Republican in the next few years. Trust us, it's your move. I think a lot of people feel this way. The king needs to realize he is on shaky ground right now, and transparency would be much appreciated. I think Thomas makes a good point too. Thomas Lodwig says, no way would I have left my children, even with my mother who adores them, for so many days. We cannot know what goes on in other families, but there are fairly standard behaviors, both away at the same time, and they criticize the royal family. Right? I mean, who is Harry to talk about how his father didn't spend enough time with him when he was a boy? He and Meghan are gone from those kids for weeks at a time, and we never even hear anything about them, who's taking care of them or anything like that. I like the point that Carol makes in her comment too. Carol says she is having fun. She enjoys fooling us all and getting us to talk about it without her being held accountable. She flies in the face of all of us. Nothing has stopped her. Yet. I think you're like me, though, Carol. I think you hope that something will stop her pretty soon. She's got to be stopped. I mean, this cannot continue. And then Charlotte says, why is Meghan allowed to get on the stage at Invictus? I thought Germany was not going to let Meghan in the country. That was wishful thinking on our part, apparently, Charlotte. And then Gainey Mead says, it is extremely painful for some to leave their pets behind when they travel. Sounds like Megs and Sparry are cruel parents. People who are cruel to animals are also cruel to people. True. Megs and Harry are very selfish and care about nothing but themselves. Unacceptable. I think most of us are worried about what those kids are going through if they're real. I mean, that's one reason we hope they're not real. And then I like this discussion about Meghan's face. So Diane starts the discussion by saying, am I imagining it, or is Mimi looking more wrinkled in the face than usual? And then some people agree, but the comment that I really laughed at was Elizabeth said, I thought that. Looks like her cheek implants are disintegrating. I've heard that happens with plastic surgery. Perhaps that's why she disappears occasionally. Repair jobs? I know my skin didn't look anywhere near as old as that when I was only 42. She's got to be about 50, but looks even older than that sometimes. I agree with you, Elizabeth. I mean, if she really is only 42 years old, then what in the world happened to her? All right, folks, that's about all the time that we've got now. So I want to say thank you so much for watching and discussing with us. Please like and share my video with anybody else who needs it if you preferred it today. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.